Nightwing, issue 132, legacy number 318. So, obviously, we've been digging this plotline quite a bit with Zani and Olivia Pierce. And this one kind of really catapults it into the next sort of phase where we start off, we sort of recap what's just happened. You know, Nightwing Prime has been hurt with kryptonite. He's on the mend. Nightwing's feeling quite sad about this and that someone's been hurt. But Babs is like, hey, I know you're feeling down right now, but more children are going missing in Bloodhaven. This is kind of a big deal. And the drawing of the Zani again, like this was left behind. So Nightwing crumples the paper and he's looking all serious as Olivia Pierce is talking to the Zani. And there's some really interesting art here, actually, where the Zani's like talking to her about, oh, this was always the plan, sweet girl, and all that. But after he said that and she puts on her red mask, and she's got basically like a Nightwing type outfit on, but it's red, and the Nightwing logo is upside down. And we find out this is the same suit that she gave Nightwing into the Titans Tower in the past arc, and the idea was that it was basically recording all of his moves so that she would just have all of his skills when the eventual fight comes. So, sneaky bugger that she is. But Nightwing basically like storms the office. Like he runs, we get this big full page spread of him running through the rain. It looks gorgeous, and he comes smashing through the window, and Olivia's like, hey, it's about time, we've done this. And we get a fight sequence where they go flying out the window, there's kicks, they land on a speeding train, there's yelling, there's spins. At one point Olivia starts spinning her stick around, so we get kind of a helicopter focus. He's like, where are the kids? And she won't tell him, or she'll say Cirque du Sin, but she's not really going to explain where that is or what that means.
Where
So yeah, the first half of it's this big fight scene. Nightwing's pissed, he's angry, he's demanding to know where these missing kids are, and this actually all builds up to when she breaks out of her binds, when Nightwing kind of like ties her up for a bit. I remember the tease some issues ago that there was like something about her like quote unquote real face, this idea that she could take her face off, and there was something else in there.
Yeah, it messed up Melinda, right? His sister.
That's right. Yeah,
she went into a catatonic state. So she started teasing that, and I didn't want to turn the page. I'm gonna be honest. It spooked me a bit.
Well, I think what's so smart about it is when you turn the page and it's like a full page of her face, and she's clearly about to like start peeling off her face, but there's panels of her past covering that part of it, and then over the next few pages, like it's hiding more and more of what her face is. But even though you can just see enough to tell that she's revealing more of it to Nightwing.
Yeah,
it's really smart. It's really good.
It is.
So we get like basically
a super dark part of her origin.
Yeah, on you go.
Here. Oh yeah. So we get the origin of what happened that night. That it was set up in the annual, the Nightwing annual with Pierce.
Yeah.
And she had set up.
This is after that though. This is like so basically Batman and Robin had their interaction, and Olivia Pierce was like, "Hey, we'll lure Robin back. Just put me in danger, put me in a death trap, and he will come running." But like, it's not like they announced it. It's not like they said, "Hey, a child's in danger." They just put her in a death trap, and of course, Robin and Batman aren't going to show up for that.
Yeah, so she puts up this very elaborate with a candle burning this rope that's going to drop like this axe blade or some kind of curved blade onto her. And Dick's like, she couldn't have been more than my age. I think she wanted help, right? But Bruce is like, you know what? You can't save the world on 3 hours of sleep, right? And he says, okay. And then we get the reveal that it cut off her head, right? The blade fell.
To break this down, right? So the first page shows her talking to the Zani and saying, hey, put me in a death trap and the heroes will show up because they have to. And then the second page is like Dick looking out the window at Wayne Manor being like, oh, I think that girl just wanted help. Maybe we should go help her. And Batman's like, but she helped. She's complicit in murdering people and kidnapping people. Like, she's a lost cause. But Dick's being more sympathetic, and Bruce convinces him to go to bed. And then on that third page, you see what the death trap is. Like you said, a candle burning a rope, and this big blade falls down. And then you just see a close-up of the Zanny's face, like his mask, after this happens, and then a silhouette of him holding her head, making it clear that this decapitated her. She was dead.
Yeah.
And then you get the full-page reveal that she's basically peeled off her skin to reveal a zombie face. Like, she is a dead person. She's been dead the entire time that she's been in this book. And not only that, inside her eye, inside the darkness of where the eye socket is, you see the eyes of the Zanny looking through her face.
Big nope. Big nope.
Excellent. I loved it. So creepy.
Yes.
And then the fact that the next page, you literally see the Zanny coming out of her head. Like, sort of, like he's been hiding in there the whole time. And it's like, finally, he's going to converse one-on-one with Nightwing.
Yep.
Super awesome. Really exciting.
And we even get a Dick Grayson Holy Living Hell. Like the old, holy whatever, Batman. So good. As the Zodi is coming out of her face, out of the eye holes, and just the expression on Dick's face here. So good, man.
Yep. Really, really good. And obviously we see that there's more kids hearing this music, being drawn to the Cirque du Soleil. And we cut back to the Zanny, who's like holding up Olivia Pierce and like standing tall above Nightwing. And it's nice for you to see me. And it's this idea that Nightwing had to be driven to this level of like anger and fear to finally be able to see him. It's almost like I don't know, like almost like you have to be drugged to a certain point to be able to see certain things. And this is kind of like that, but with like just like your psyche being completely tormented and whatever.
Yeah, because we get the vibe that Dick has felt the Zanny's presence, right? There's the whole motorcycle scene with them, right? And but he wasn't sure, he didn't know.
Well, it's the idea that he's been getting closer over this last little while. So he's having these little moments of like, oh, did I see something in the corner of my eye? Did I feel something? And of course, he did see him that one time as a kid, which is that's why the image of his face has been haunting him like this entire time.
Right. And now he is standing, across from him and standing over him, right? And just how much bigger he is than Dick. It makes Dick look like a kid, and it kind of reverts him back to that, kiddish kind of vibe here. And then I had no idea where this was going to go next. So it gets even more wild.
Yeah, I mean, she basically so the Zanny pulls out like this stick thing, right? And she starts saying, you fell for it, Nightwing. You walked right into our death trap. The little circus boy has grown on his own chest. He wears a mark, a curious mark for a circus boy to wear. For the circus has its own language, its own code and beliefs. And the bird in the circus tent means death, but not for the bird, for the others. And now at last, all Bloodhaven knows that you did not save. And because like no one else can see the Zanny, right? So the news helicopter, who's like now filming this, we see on the news, we just see her head like fall off, and Nightwing's reaching out, and the little kids who are watching are like, "Wait, Nightwing didn't just kill her, did he? Like that's Nightwing. He wouldn't do that." But it's putting this seed of doubt into everyone that Nightwing's to be feared. That there's death. Even the news presenter was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, everyone, that we just saw violence on TV."
Her head just fell off though on live TV. And then also I like that the Zanny brings up that this is a slapstick, and that in the old term in the circus, like a slapstick was a real thing, right? And it's Zanny's tool from the Commedia, which is the Italian circus that performance this is from. So that's what they use. And there's a slap, and then her head goes off. And no one else can see this, right? There's no other. It is just Olivia and Nightwing there.
Yeah, and Olivia might just be gone now. It's almost like he's done with his host now that he's got Dick. So, and maybe he's going to try and latch onto Dick Grayson as a host. But we see these kids; they can see the tent outside, the Cirque du Soleil tent. Almost like the fear of seeing this is now making like it's very Freddy Krueger. It's this idea of the fear of him makes him stronger, and that these kids are now seeing this more and more because now they're scared of what's happening. So Nightwing screams again, "Where are all the children?" And the Zai just says, "In the Cirque du Soleil, of course, just behind the curtain. Listen carefully, you'll hear them laughing. See you there." And in the final panels, at the Zanny closing a curtain as Nightwing's on his knees, kind of weeping in the rain. So I love the sense of existential just hopelessness that this is giving me right now, because the uplifting part of like when Nightwing's able to finally overcome this is going to feel so good.
I read this thing over the last couple of weeks about why clowns are scary. And right, originally clowns weren't meant for like children, but after like World War II, there was all of these clowns in children's art, and they became like a thing for kids. And then through the 70s, and you know, the whole idea of the Joker and Pennywise from It, and all these other evil clowns, killer clowns from outer space, they took this thing and made, you know, almost this reminder that they're not for kids, and they return the clowns to their spot of holding up a mirror to the rest of the world. And it's so weird where that's where I feel that Waters is going with the Zani, right? That he's holding up a mirror, and it's not just for the world, but, you know, this darkness that he's bringing to Bloodhaven, right? Like all the stuff that Nightwing has built, right? It's on this uneasy foundation because he can, you know, take it all away by making people lose their hope and belief in Nightwing here. And yeah, I love when stuff adds up like this, you know, like this whole concept of the evil clown coming back around here.
Yeah, I mean,
I was not ready for this issue.
Yeah, this is just such a great run, because like this issue is just like, it's not the ending by any means, but it's this culmination of all this teasing of Olivia Pierce's real face, of like Nightwing finally seeing the Zani one-on-one, but what it means that he can see him, because they've established that you can only see the Zani when you're so far gone that you're kind of in the deep end and you might never come back from that. Now, obviously, we expect that he will, but it really has sold this idea that he's only seeing the Zani because he's in a dark place mentally. Like he's gone like far.
Right. Well, and like, what exactly is the Zani, right? Because we've seen him mess up a fifth dimensional imp too. So like, what exactly is the Zani? Like, is it fear personified? Is it like existential dread? Is like, you know, how is it moving? And I don't need the exact specifications, but like the threat is high, right? Like we have been, you know, built up. This seems almost insurmountable.
Yeah, I mean, it's an existential threat of some kind. It's this kind of like something from another plane of existence, or something that's in the shadows, or kind of thing. Like it's definitely going for this kind of like ethereal villain as opposed to like a tangible physical threat that's there. Now we could argue what he represents and like, you know, what it means and all that, but yeah, I think like just in terms of like the brass tacks of what actually is it, then this is like, you know, it's like I don't know, a villain from like a David Lynch movie or something. It's not something that's super tangible.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like he doesn't exist until you think him into existence, right?
But what I like about it though is that there's enough like solid baseline that it keeps building. The more we learn about him, the more interactions between him and Olivia, him and Nightwing, and the way it's built up, it feels like there is like it's not just random. It feels like there's a very thought out like understanding by Waters of what the rules are with the Zani. It doesn't just feel like he's flailing about and the Zani can do anything supernaturally he wants. It feels like no. There's this idea that he has to latch on to people and like push them to do his bidding, and there's definitely a supernatural quality to it. I mean, whatever Olivia has been since she got decapitated, is certainly some kind of like undead entity, or certainly not a normal human being at the very least. So there's clearly something more beyond just like manipulating human beings, but it doesn't feel like he could just do that to anyone on a whim. It feels like it has to be someone who's pushed to believing in him and can see him and so on. And obviously I think he's building to Nightwing being his ultimate avatar, I would assume, but we'll see how that goes. So really cool. I'm digging this a lot.
Too, with the whole idea of a bird in the circus, and then, you know, Dick Grayson became Robin, right? You know, and he had to leave the circus because of that tragedy or whatever. I also love that just thematically how this plays out. But yeah, so good. And then Dexter Soy's art, just again, that dread of turning each page when she goes to show the face, and
I really like the fight.
You can see the pieces underneath the panels. Yeah,
I really like the fight building up to it. But yeah, it's that moment where she says, "Oh, you've not seen my real face," or whatever the line is, and then she starts to peel it, and it's those 3 pages of the flashback story playing out, hiding the reveal until we finally see it. is because for a second I thought, oh, is it going to just slice off the front of her face so she's like still intact? But then you get that silhouette panel of him just straight up holding her head. And I'm like, oh no, she get decapitated.
Like Hamlet.
Yeah, she dead, and whatever's here now is something way more mystical and
else. Yeah.
So no.
So
exciting stuff. Yeah. Curious to see what the next chapter of this is, but I'm super excited for it. And the art is gorgeous throughout. Dexter Soy absolutely killing it throughout. I love the sense of urgency in this issue. Much like Wonder Woman this week, it felt like we'd done all this setup and it was just about, oh no, it's time to throw down. And it didn't just feel like, because sometimes when you get an issue that's mostly action, not that this was all action, the back half kind of went into like more interesting, different stuff, but it can kind of feel like, oh, it's just an action issue, not much plot happened. But no. This is a good example, much like Wonder Woman this week, where everything's been built up so well that it feels really satisfying to get to this action, because this action is paying off everything that we've been building to for, at least a full arc. And in this case, it's been probably building since the first Dan Waters issue of Nightwing, to be honest. Like, that's when we first teased as Annie. So, honestly, very, very high marks here. Matt, what are you giving Nightwing?
I'm going to go with the 10.
What the hell do I do? Obviously, I'm in the vicinity. Sure, I'll say 10.
Yeah. This book was so good, I read it twice.
That's saying something.